Sheil Rodney, a teenager, disappeared after a summer gathering meant to celebrate freedom and friendship. She had gone to a party with friends in the Tahoe National Forest following an early dismissal from high school. According to police, she left the party in the early hours of August 6, 2022, and was never seen again. Kelly came from a loving family and had many friends. She was intelligent and talented, and with her first year of college approaching, she was eager to spend time with friends before leaving. No one imagined that a seemingly fun outing in a park so close to home could become so dangerous. Both civilians and police joined the search for Kelly, but none were prepared for the discovery that awaited them. On Friday, August 5, 2022, the Tahoe National Forest was bathed in beautiful weather with Mount Shasta visible in the distance. Wildflowers, adding splashes of purple and yellow, decorated the landscape. A lingering effect from the previous summer's wildfires. As summer drew to a close, many were squeezing in one last bit of fun before school resumed. Kelly Rodney, who had finished high school early and excelled in her studies, a notable achievement, was about to start at Sierra College the following week, making her family immensely proud. That Friday, she spent time with friends, making crème brûlée and enjoying the day. Later that day, Kelly headed to a summer send-off party at Prosser Camping, about a 40-minute drive from Reno and near the state line, yet only 15 minutes from her home. The Prosser site, set on a large lake, is affectionately called the Sanctuary by locals. It was a place where friends could enjoy one last carefree day before heading off to college and new adventures. Kelly had planned to meet her best friends the following morning, August 6th, around 9 a.m., but she never arrived. In fact, no one saw her after August 5th. Kelly had grown up in Truckee, California, with parents Lindsay and Daniel, who loved and cherished her deeply. Her 8-year-old brother admired her immensely, thinking of her as the best person in the world. Kelly and her family lived in a more rural area of Truckee, with a lifestyle some might describe as off-grid, common in California's mountain towns. She led a typical life in this setting, and was known for her cheerful personality, showing that this way of living suited her well. She had been eagerly anticipating the weekend and the camping party with her friends. When Kelly left for the party around 6 p.m. on August 5th, her parents had no idea it would be the last time they would see her. Around that same time, she stopped at a gas station in Truckee, roughly halfway between her home and the campsite. Surveillance footage captured Kelly looking around the gas station before she continued on her way. A few hours later, around 10 p.m., she arrived at the campsite with her friend Magdalene, where they met up with another friend, Sammy Smith. Kelly and Sammy spent most of the night together, sharing drinks and occasionally stepping away to chat with others. While the gathering was initially intended for local teens, word quickly spread, and soon teenagers from across Northern California were making their way to Prosser to join the party. Estimates suggest that between 200 and 300 people attended that night. Due to the risk of wildfires, campfires were not allowed, leaving the area largely dark except for other sources of light. Partygoers illuminated the campsite with glow sticks, electric candles, and the lights from car trunk. Of course, Kelly and her friends had attended parties like this before. When speaking to the news, Kelly's mother emphasized that her daughter would never, ever drink and drive. Kelly was responsible and level-headed, a point her friends also confirmed. They had never seen her consume alcohol and then get behind the wheel. For these reasons, Lindsay felt confident letting Kelly attend the party. Around 11 p.m., the girls went to Kelly's silver Honda CR-V to charge her phone. They sat inside, chatting for a while sipping drinks. During their conversation, Sammy asked Kelly for a ride home that night. Lindsay later recalled receiving a text from Kelly around 11:30 p.m., saying she was leaving the party and would head straight home. Lindsay trusted that Kelly would be home when she said she would, knowing how hard her daughter had worked to finish school early with honors. Confident in her judgment, she sent Kelly a text telling her to stay safe and that she loved her. Kelly replied, "Okay, I love you too." Between 11:30 p.m. and 12:20 a.m., Sammy decided Kelly was too intoxicated to drive her home and arranged for another ride. The two friends went their separate ways. Sammy later told police that she said goodbye to Kelly at 12:25 a.m. At 12:36 a.m., just minutes later, Sammy received another call from Kelly asking about her ride. Sammy thought Kelly was still at the party, as she could hear background chatter, though she wasn't entirely sure. Sammy had no idea that her conversation with Kelly would be the last anyone would have with her. By the time Lindsay woke the next morning, Kelly was not in her room and her car was missing from outside. After several unsuccessful attempts to reach her daughter, Lindsay immediately contacted the police to report Kelly as missing. However, the authorities did not issue an Amber Alert, citing a lack of evidence that Kelly had been taken against her will. They searched the area around the party and interviewed roughly a third of the attendees. Police requested that anyone who had been at the party come forward, but many of the teenagers present were reluctant to speak with law enforcement. Many of the attendees were about to start college and feared that anything they did at the party might jeopardize their future. The police reassured them that no one would face charges for actions that occurred at the event. They were solely focused on finding Kelly. Despite this, most of the partygoers remained hesitant to speak. They largely stayed silent. As news of Kelly's disappearance spread, none of the more than 200 people at the party reported seeing anything unusual. Yet Kelly and her car were still missing. Someone had to have witnessed something. In response, Sammy decided to organize a meeting with everyone who had attended the party that night. No police officers were present at the meeting, as Sammy wanted the attendees to feel more comfortable speaking freely among their peers. Despite this, nothing new came to light. On several occasions, Sammy informed the authorities that she had been the last person to see Kelly. She and Kelly's other friends discussed how pushy older boys at the party had made them feel uneasy. It was then that Sammy and her friends decided to leave, a moment that reportedly caused laughter among others. The group of friends wouldn't abandon someone they knew had been drinking, especially with older boys making the younger girls uncomfortable. Sammy also noted that while there were hundreds of photos and videos from the night, none provided any clues about Kelly's whereabouts or her state of mind. The police were initially at a loss. Days after Kelly's disappearance, they were able to confirm that her phone last connected to cellular data at 12:33 a.m. around the time she spoke with Sammy. Whatever happened after that call was unknown and the circumstances seemed grim. The search for Kelly effectively began with this single lead. Sammy quickly became a key figure in the case, having spent much of the evening with Kelly and later participating in multiple media interviews. It was clear that someone had offered to drive Kelly home when she was drunk, but she had declined the offer. In an interview, Sammy was asked what she thought might have happened to her friend. One of the first theories was that Kelly could have crashed on her way home. The hilly roads in the area can be challenging, especially for a new driver late at night and after drinking. Both Sammy Smith and Jagger, reportedly Kelly's ex-boyfriend, assisted with the investigation, but media interviews with them revealed tensions and complications that the public noticed. Speculation quickly grew around the relationships between Kelly, Sammy, and Jagger. Many claimed that Kelly and Sammy weren't as close as Sammy had told police after Kelly went missing. She wasn't even connected with Kelly on social media. However, online sleuths discovered that Sammy was friends with Jagger, which fueled suspicions when both Sammy and Jagger began soliciting information on social media. Instead of directing tips to the police, they asked people to send leads to them first, claiming they would filter the information. Combined with what many perceived as suspicious behavior, this led some to speculate that Sammy, who had claimed to be friends with Kelly, might have been involved in her disappearance. Jagger also publicly asked anyone with information to reach out to him. On August 11th, the Placer County Sheriff's Department took to Twitter to clarify that they had never instructed Jagger to collect witness statements or evidence. They emphasized that all information should be sent directly to the authorities. This only fueled public suspicion of Jagger and Sammy, especially as photos and videos from the party began to surface and were submitted to the police for review. The search for Kelly Rodney became increasingly challenging. By August 12, 2022, authorities and volunteers were combing her home and the last known locations she had visited, looking for any clues that could help locate her. The Placer County Sheriff's Office discussed the extent of their efforts at a town hall meeting the week following her disappearance, revealing that the search had stretched as far north as Cherville and as far east as Verde. Search efforts extended throughout Truckee to the south and west, reaching past Jackson Meadows Reservoir, covering roughly a 25-mile radius from where Kelly was last seen. Local volunteers assisting with the search believed that neither Kelly nor her car remained in the vast Tahoe National Forest, which spans over 800,000 acres. The area is immense and varied, featuring rugged peaks, dense forests, and clear lakes and rivers, making a search particularly challenging. If Kelly had been somewhere in the forest, the search teams felt confident they would have found her by now. Meanwhile, speculation swirled about her connections with Jagger, Sammy, and other party attendees. Many feared the worst but held on to hope. Simultaneously, the police continued piecing together fragments of the case, sharing updates at a press conference on August 12. Police reported that they had received tips suggesting an adult was discouraging people from coming forward with information. In response, they launched a fully anonymous online platform where the public could submit photos, videos, and any other relevant information regarding Kelly's disappearance. By this stage, the case was becoming increasingly puzzling, with clear signs that someone knew something and was actively trying to keep it hidden. On August 13, police held another press conference. Public Information Officer Angela Muslim announced that search efforts had been intensified for the weekend. She revealed that on August 12, a search and rescue ground team had discovered what they believed could be a possible burial site near the campground. Kelly's family had been informed and the FBI, alongside the Placer and Nevada County Sheriff's offices, had arrived at the location to investigate. After further investigation at the site, authorities discovered the body of a dog. Addressing the public, Angela Muslim emphasized, "Let me be clear, we have one team, one mission, and one goal. And that is to find Kelly Rodney." By the 9th day of the investigation, the Placer County Sheriff's Office was still pursuing 720 leads, hoping that one would provide a breakthrough. Meanwhile, people across the country continued to speculate about Kelly's fate, searching for any new clue. By the principle of Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is usually the most likely, but as the possibility of an accident grows less plausible with each passing day, new questions arise. What other circumstances could cause someone to vanish from a party without a trace? For more than 2 weeks, Kelly's family had no idea where their beloved daughter was. Her friends faced accusations from strangers nationwide while police continued their tireless search. Then came a breakthrough. On August 21, 2022, Adventures with Purpose, a YouTube channel specializing in cold cases, recovered Kelly Rodney's silver CRV from Prosser Reservoir. The team, known for their expertise in underwater recoveries, had been asked to assist when Kelly first went missing. According to AWP, they were happy to help. When they arrived, authorities informed them that the reservoir had already been thoroughly searched by dive teams and nothing had been found, making the discovery all the more surprising. At 10:40 a.m. on August 21, the search of Prosser Reservoir began. 2 sonar-equipped boats were deployed, and by 11:15 a.m., one detected an object 55 feet offshore in just 14 feet of water. Using a specialized Garmin sonar device, diver Nick entered the water and confirmed the vehicle was Kelly Rodney's by checking the license plate. A body was later recovered from the car's cargo area. Adventures with Purpose noted that the Garmin EcoMap Ultra they used costs around $2,500. A modest investment for a police department of that size and seemingly a worthwhile tool for search and rescue teams. The discovery raises questions. If such relatively affordable technology can be so effective that a YouTube channel can purchase and use it, why aren't local search and rescue teams utilizing it more extensively? The fact that the FBI, with access to advanced technology, was unable to locate Kelly's car during the 2 weeks they assisted local authorities has raised questions. After recovering the vehicle, Adventures with Purpose shared details of the mission on Facebook. The team stated that they had contacted police first as they were coordinating with them to locate Kelly. However, at a press conference the following day, a spokesperson for the sheriff's department claimed that the team had never reached out and that the police had to proactively contact them. This discrepancy fueled public skepticism, especially given AWB's strong reputation. Some speculated that local authorities might have been embarrassed by the oversight. The discovery of Kelly's car was devastating for her family and the community. And the tragedy deepened when police confirmed that the body found in the vehicle's cargo area was indeed Kelly's. After Kelly's recovery, many assumed the case had reached its conclusion. However, events continued to unfold in unexpected ways, prompting questions about the local police's search efforts. Doug and Nick of Adventures with Purpose emphasized that their skills are specialized and rare, and they consider assisting law enforcement across the U.S., including the FBI, an honor. Yet when news of the discovery spread, the public began to question how AWP was able to locate Kelly's car in less than 2 hours, an area that had been thoroughly searched by multiple agencies over 2 weeks. The vehicle was found overturned in a spot that had already been combed extensively, raising legitimate concerns about the competence and effectiveness of the local police. A trail camera in the area captured a car driving straight into the water at 12:32 a.m. on August 6, the exact location where Kelly's vehicle was eventually recovered and where her cell phone last pinged. Local authorities reported spending over 15,000 man-hours searching for Kelly. Yet another team located her car in less than 2 hours in the very same spot. Aerial views clearly show something in the water where her car and body were found. This raises questions. If air searches had been conducted, how was it overlooked? If Kelly had driven into the water, the car would have left tracks in the sand. So how were these missed when her mother reported her missing less than 12 hours later? As previously discussed, Doug Bishop from AWP expressed deep suspicion about the circumstances surrounding Kelly's disappearance. He noted that Kelly, a bright student heading to college, vanished from a large party only to be found just a few hundred yards away. Bishop emphasized that she couldn't have taken a wrong turn, as there was only one entrance and exit to the area, which Kelly knew well. However, the road where her car was ultimately found included a sharp left turn onto a rough, four-wheel drive dirt path. Kelly would have immediately realized she was off course, making the crash even more puzzling. Bishop also found it unusual that Kelly's body was located in the vehicle's cargo area, suggesting that she might have had enough time to move there herself if the windows had been closed. But it's unclear why she would have moved to the cargo area in the first place. When the car was found, many of the windows were rolled down, which means the vehicle would have filled with water very quickly, leaving little time for her to crawl to the back. And even if she had the opportunity, why would she go there? She could have easily escaped through a window to reach safety. The situation simply doesn't add up. According to news reports, over 400 people die each year when their cars become submerged in water. Survival depends on exiting the vehicle before it is fully underwater, often in under a minute. Experts advise rolling down the windows immediately and escaping through the front windows rather than the rear, as every second can make the difference between life and death. But this raises even more questions about Kelly's case. The driver's window and other windows appeared to be down when the car was recovered, yet she was found in the rear of the vehicle. Additionally, the driver's side mirror was broken off and there was a dent in the driver's door, damage that wasn't present when she left her home. Where did that damage come from? Other submerged cars typically don't show such broken mirrors or dent. And with over 200 people at the party, how did no one hear the car enter the water? Many details remain unclear. But Kelly's autopsy report eventually provided answers that are difficult for many to accept. Kelly's death was officially ruled an accident in the autopsy report released on Thursday, October 13, 2022. The report concluded that she had drowned. This finding surprised many in the area, especially given local suspicions that the chief of police and the coroner are the same person. Some locals believe that crimes in the area are sometimes labeled as accidents to protect the town's reputation, since it is a tourist destination and a high crime rate could hurt the local economy. When Kelly was found, she was fully clothed and showed no signs of assault. The toxicology report revealed caffeine, nicotine, and trace amounts of THC in her system. Liver tissue samples indicated the presence of alcohol with a BAC of 0.08, just below the legal driving limit. However, many experts suggest that these ethanol levels could result from post-mortem alcohol production, raising doubts about whether Kelly was actually intoxicated. The roads in the area are poorly lit, winding unmarked dirt paths, which adds to the danger and complexity of the situation. Is it really possible that Kelly simply took a wrong turn and drove into the water despite being familiar with the area? If that were the case, why didn't she escape through a window that was already rolled down? The autopsy report adds another puzzling detail. There was no water in her lungs. The medical examiner noted that her lung weights were unusually low for someone who had supposedly drowned. Typically, drowning involves significant water in the lungs, yet here there was barely any, hardly enough to support that conclusion. Detective Sonier stated that Kelly's death had to be classified as an accident due to a lack of evidence of foul play. But looking at the inconsistencies, it's reasonable to wonder whether the investigation thoroughly searched for the evidence that might have told a different story. It's clear that there's a pattern of oversight, especially considering Kelly's car was discovered in an area authorities claim to have searched multiple times. For her friends and family, the absence of answers leaves a permanent void, a painful uncertainty that will never fully heal. I can't imagine being able to rest without knowing exactly what happened. Still, amid this tragedy, there's an important lesson to carry forward. Never leave a friend behind. While this heartbreaking outcome might have been preventable, it has imparted crucial lessons to police, partygoers, and the true crime community. Kelly didn't have to die that night, but hopefully, her story will serve as a warning.